Hi, Zobia. How are
Hi,
you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Thank you again for agreeing to do our D&I Spotlight series. This is
Oh
the
my
second
goodness,
one we're
thank you for
doing.
choosing me.
No, of course, of course. Yeah. I mean, we've had the pleasure to work together. So, I mean,
Mhm.
when we were doing the series, you were definitely someone that came to mind. Um, so I wanted to just start off by having you introduce yourself and give a little bit of background info.
Cool. So I am Zobia. I am a formulator. I've been in the industry actually for a short amount of time. I'm still a baby in the industry. I've been here for about 4 to 5 years, and I started off with working in consumer evaluation and also working on doing preservative testing. And then it wasn't really fun counting colonies on petri dishes. So I kind of was curious to see how a lot of the products I was testing were made. And I hopped over to a CM and I started learning about all the different types of personal care products and learning how to make them, how to batch them, and eventually how to formulate them. And then I really wanted to be more in touch with the products that I was working on. And I switched over to a brand, which is where you and I met, Mario. And I got to be really close with a lot of the different departments that work with launching the products that we work on. So then I got to learn the process of following a project from the second it hits my desk and I start to dump all the ingredients into a beaker and hope that magic happens. And then I got to see it go from that to something in marketing that is now sitting on a shelf somewhere in Ulta and Sephora. So that's just a little bit about, I guess, my
Yeah.
history in this
That's
industry.
awesome. Yeah. And how did you first get into that first job where you were doing evaluation, the micro evaluation? How did you hear about getting into cosmetic science? Did you just kind of fall into it, or were you kind of trying to get into the industry? How did you start off?
That was actually pure luck, I will
Yeah.
say. I just happened to have a friend that I kept in touch with from college. And then I remember I was looking for a job for a couple of months and I couldn't find anything that I liked because I had majored in microbiology.
Hmm.
And I realized that I really didn't want to do anything with environmental microbiology, which was what my major focused around. So this one girl from one of my biochemistry classes reached out to me, asked me if I was interested in being a microbiology technician for a company that does consumer testing and will do preservative testing. And I thought, okay, why not? This is interesting. I never realized that an industry. I guess I never realized the beauty industry really existed beyond what I saw in the stores. So I
Right.
got a little like background into the industry.
Yeah, so that's amazing. So like a little happy coincidence, which is it's
Mhm.
surprising because when we first met, the first thing that I remember was you were just very passionate about cosmetic products. And
Mhm.
so I mean, I assumed back then was that you just always wanted to be and like have something to do with the industry. But so, I mean, maybe talk about where did that passion come from? Or
I did have an interest in skincare, but never to the point where I knew the how vast this industry was and just what existed. But I had acne when I was younger, and I had acne for years, and I used to do so many different things just to try and tame the acne, calm it down. And everyone was always giving me suggestions on what to put on my face, and nothing ever worked for me until I got older. Probably in like college, it started to calm down, and then I started looking into maybe what should I not be putting onto my skin and keeping
Mhm.
my skincare routine very, very, very simple. So the interest in skincare was always there because of my acne journey. Um, and then afterwards, when I realized really just what the industry was about, it was more so curiosity that led me to a contract manufacturer and just wanting to see how things are made.
Yeah,
And I did have an interest in makeup as well, but I was never interested in the ingredients when it came to makeup. But
right.
skincare was always something where I would head to Target or Sephora and I would pick something up and just read the back of it just to
Hmm.
see, well, what's in this? And none of the ingredients made sense to me at the time, but it was just, I had to know what was in my skincare.
Yeah.
And
And
eventually
now you can break it down to the you
now
can,
it's great. Now I'll sit there and be like, you're using Rapidix. I know exactly how you got this texture.
exactly, exactly. That's amazing. So about your 5-year journey into your career, what are some key highlights, key accomplishments that you've had in your cosmetic journey?
Mhm. Um, so the one that truly does stand out, there's I think two or three that really made such a big impact on me. One of them was actually when I was working at the CM. It was the first formula I believe that I wrote the formula I formulated, and it was a conditioner. And I was working with my mentor at the time, who I have such a high level of respect for because he taught me so much. And it was the first thing I'd ever actually written the formula for him to evaluate. And then I remember he looked at it, he thought, okay, this is good. This seems very much like a standard conditioner. I batched it, and I remember he tried it and he said, wow, this is actually pretty amazing. This is a formula to save because this is going to be great for you to use as a base for something. And that was, it was probably like a year and a half, no, a year into me being a junior chemist there. And I was just so proud of myself that, the mentor that I looked up to said, wow, this is amazing. And it was one of the first things that I formulated solely, like by myself, no help from anybody else. So
Right.
that was just a huge accomplishment at the time for me.
Yep.
And then the second one that stands out is when I got to Mario, they were
Mario
working.
Badescu for
Yeah,
anyone that is wondering.
sorry about that. But yeah, so when I got to Mario Badescu, they were working on, or they were toying with the idea of making a vitamin C cream. And anyone who knows me knows that the vitamin C cream at Mario Badescu is my baby. I worked so hard on that. And I remember coming in and thinking, okay, I need to make a name for myself. I need to make a reputation for myself in this company because no one knows who I am at the moment. And I want to be the person that they look at. So they were working on the vitamin C cream, toying around with the idea, using different benchmarks. And I sat there and thought, I'm going to put together a list of all the ingredients that I have loved working with, and I'm going to dump it into this cream. And that's exactly what I did. I put together the polymers that I knew were phenomenal and stable. I put the emulsifiers that I knew were going to give me just the right feel. And I made the vitamin C cream. I think within a month, I had the formula ready for them. And that's something that I was doing on the side while they were actually still testing out benchmarks. So then
Yep.
one day I go to my boss and I'm just like, here's the vitamin C cream I've been working on. And he just goes, wait, you did this already. And I was still working on contract manufacturing time. So everything was quick, quick, quick
It's
for me.
much quicker timelines. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So I made this cream, and that cream then became the base to the vitamin C cream, and we
Right.
just made adjustments on which derivatives we were using and maybe
Yep.
the color and the extracts. So that's something that overall I think it took me a year just to get the perfect formula. And
Yep.
then we launched it, and I was a part of the entire process in the packaging, in the labeling, in the regulatory, the
Yeah.
marketing, speaking
I was
to
about to say
retailers.
you had a little hand in the marketing as well, like doing some
It,
little videos and yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
So that was such a great experience, and that was a big accomplishment for me as well, because that also, I showed the company that one, I knew exactly what I was doing, and then I became somebody that they could rely on for other formulas, even formulas that I never had a hand in. So
yep.
then my entire time at Mario, I became that liaison for every single department to come to. So
Yep.
that another accomplishment being that I launched a product, or I helped launch a product, but also I made a name for myself in the company where everyone knew, okay, if we need something, we can go to Zobia because she'll be able to figure something out.
Yep. And that's a great place to be for sure. So we talked about what you've done. What are your aspirations for your career for the future? What is your dream job, or what you want to where you want to land?
Mhm.
Yeah. What would you like to achieve in the future?
I definitely know that I want to go into the product development sphere. That is something that's very interesting to me, to be the idea person. And I got a little taste of it here at Mario because I spent the past year or so being in charge of product development. So my next goal is eventually to land into a more product development role. But for now, I do want to stick to being a chemist. I still want to create, I want to innovate. There's
Yeah.
so many raw materials that I would love to get my hands on and play around with. So many things I would love to create as well. So the next goal is to continue staying in the chemist sphere and seeing what else I can create and just how much more innovation there is because the industry is constantly changing. So I do want to follow that for a bit and eventually land into the product development side of things where I believe that my knowledge with ingredients and just how products are meant to work would actually benefit wherever I fall into.
Yeah, and to your point, I mean, for a product development person, the more knowledge you have on ingredients and formula, it levels expectations that marketing has when they pitch
Hmm.
ideas. So it definitely lends itself there. Um, awesome, awesome. So I do have a bonus question, and
Ooh.
it's not related to cosmetics at all.
Okay.
I tried this in the last interview, and I thought it was fun, so I just feel like I will continue
Mhm.
it. So who is your favorite musical artist, or what is your favorite musical genre to listen to?
Ooh, okay, that's gonna be tough because I like music way too much.
And I
That's
think I
why
know maybe what the answer you might give me, but I want to hear from you.
so, oh my goodness, my favorite. I think right now I've been listening to a lot of Ali Gadi.
Okay.
I really love his music. So his music I'll listen to whenever I'm in the feels and I want something very mellow sometimes, I'll go to him. But now if I want something a little bit more upbeat and happy, you're gonna catch me listening to Bad Bunny.
Yeah, from the music that was played in the lab, it was definitely that. Or there was what was the other genre of music that you showed me, like music competitions, like
Oh my goodness.
the international ones. I can't
Yes,
remember.
Pakistani music.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, oh, I used to have you listen to a couple of the Coke Studio songs with like
Yes, yeah,
some discovered and undiscovered artists. That one was very good. That season
yeah.
was absolutely phenomenal. That's the thing. I love all different types of music. So I got into Albanian music a while ago, Moroccan music a while ago, and
Yeah.
it's just that I didn't realize that there's such a huge world of music out there that I
Yep.
know nothing about. So now I'm listening to anything that I can get my hands on.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Zobia. Um, and I again thank you so much for doing this interview. Really appreciate it, and we're glad that we can hear from SEC members like yourself, and you know, we appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.